Hey guys, TommyBryson here, and one of the worst things ever is having to play a game without knowing how the game actually works, okay? And a lot of us, we start playing the money game without knowing how debt works, how investment works, how to actually get a job that pays us a good return, and it's just complicated because nobody teaches you exactly how money works from the very beginning. So in this video right here, I'm gonna tell you 3 simple things that you need to know to learn about money as fast as possible. And once you know this, you will be ahead of 90% of the population out there because most of them don't understand these laws when it comes to money. And by the way, my goal is not to give you a bunch of little fun facts. My goal is to tell you how these things work and how to put it into action right now today to change your entire life, okay? So as always, guys, smash the like button. I appreciate it a ton. On top of that, also subscribe. We have a goal to hit 500K, so I appreciate the sub, and let's get right into the video. Now, the very first thing is, guys, when it comes to money, you have to start playing the game with whatever cards you have been dealt. Whatever income you have right now, you have to learn how to use that to the best of your abilities, okay? A lot of people say, I just don't have enough money to think about saving or paying debt or investing whatsoever. I'm just gonna wait until I have more money. And I had that same mindset. My first job paid me around $6 an hour. Then I got paid $8.75 an hour and I was still broke. And then I got paid $13 an hour and I was still broke, okay? But then something happened. When you learn to manage the little you have and to multiply it, I went from making 13 bucks an hour to then making around $8,000 net per month from a business I started. But that would have never happened if I never said, well, I'm just gonna wait until I make more money to then finally think about how I'm gonna use my money. The answer was no. You gotta learn to manage what you have right now and try to multiply or use that money to benefit you in some way. Now, the average person, what they do is this, okay? They go from making X to making a little bit more, and as they make more money, they just add, for example, an extra bill. So the idea is, if I make more money, that should be an extra expense. That should be, for example, a better lifestyle, whether it's a car, and people, for example, they have kids, and all of a sudden, I hate that. I don't like it. When people say, well, I have kids, they blame the kids, they blame the car, they blame this. No, take responsibility. When it comes to this money game, you can only play the game with what you have. And if you wait to have what you don't have, it might never come and you might be left out the game forever. And that's not what you want. So here is the action step I want you guys to take. I want you to make what I call a triple B budget. And this stands for a bare bone budget. And this is gonna give you your baseline. A baseline is exactly how much money you need to survive, to basically live a good lifestyle, but without all of the extras. And that basically means you have 4 main expenses: shelter, utilities, groceries, and transportation. So what you do is you write your income on one side, you write those 4 categories on the other side, and you list exactly how much you spend there. And those are the main 4, and the main 4 you basically want to save money on. If you have other bills, you cut them out. If you have things you don't need around the house, you sell them, okay? And this way you basically lower your cost of living overall. Now with all of the extra money, you have 3 things to do. The first thing is you want to save $1,000. Once that's done, great. The second thing is you want to get into the habit of taking 1 to 5% of your money and using it just to have fun. Now, why do I say that? Why do you want to have fun when you're broke or you don't have a lot of money? Because you have to get into a consistent mindset that a portion of your money, you're supposed to use it to enjoy it, and this way you're not tempted to spend all that money at once when you save a bunch of it, okay? I used to do that. It's not good. Just take a little bit, you spend it on something, or you save it up for something nice, and that's it. Now, the third thing is you carry on a mission with all of the extra money. All of the extra money, you want to use it first to pay off your debts. Once you're done with that, you want to use it second to save for an emergency fund for 3 to 6 months of your triple B budget. And then after that, you want to start investing money into a Roth IRA or into your 401k, basically for retirement, 10 to 20% of your income. And then while you're doing that, you want to save for a home, for your down payment, and think about buying a home using the 33% rule on a 15-year mortgage. Tommy, what's that? Look it up on YouTube with my name and a video will pop up, me breaking everything down. But before you think about this whole picture, if you have debt, focus on that first. If you don't have an emergency fund account, focus on that first. People like to think about all these things, get overwhelmed, and never start with the first step. Do the first thing first, and then move on to the next one, and then the next one. Progress is one of the best ways to build success, because if there's no progress, you can't possibly build on anything. Now, number 2 is this, okay, guys? Problems equals money. The level of problems you can solve is going to equal the amount of money you can make. Now, there's this very powerful quote out there by Biggie Smalls, and he says basically, more money, more problems, right? I think that's backwards. I think more problems equals more money. Because if you don't solve any problems, you can't possibly make any money. And that's how this whole capitalist system basically works. In order to earn money, you have to, in a way, solve a problem, okay? That's how this whole game works. Now, here's the big thing that I want you guys to ask, and it's basically these 3 questions. First, what problems are you solving right now? How much do you get paid to solve these problems? And in your company, in your job, in your business, is there anyone, for example, earning more money, solving bigger problems? And what can you do to basically make the money they make or make more than they make? So here's an example. Let's say I work at McDonald's. My problem that I'm solving at McDonald's is solving the cooking problem. I cook there. I flip burgers. Thus, I make $15 an hour. Okay, so that's the problem I solve. I make $15 an hour, but my manager makes $22 an hour. So do I want to stay here, get promoted to possibly make his money because I like my job, which by the way is fine. You can like your job, but you want to figure out the way to earn the highest possible amount of money within the company, okay? If you're not being paid enough, obviously. That's the idea. It's very simple. So how do I put this into action? Well, what you want to do is you want to figure out exactly, and I want you to think about this very thoroughly, and that's why I took a long pause there. You want to think about what problems do you enjoy solving? And then what is the market value of solving those problems? For example, one of my favorite problems to solve was eating pizza, okay? I buy pizza from somebody else. I try to make videos about it. It didn't work out. I liked, for example, to sing. That was a problem, right? Entertaining people. Turns out I was causing them a problem with their eardrums. So if I say, well, I love numbers, I love, for example, figuring out business financial statements, well, maybe the problem you want to solve is accounting for business. Well, what's the market value of that problem? Well, it's around $70,000 a year. Well, how long is it going to take me to basically get trained for that problem? Well, between 2 to 4 years. That's the idea. So you want to kind of figure out exactly what problems you like solving, how much do they pay, and how can you get involved in the whole process? And how long is it actually going to tell you? Take you. Don't be afraid, for example, to figure out how to solve a problem over 1 year or 2 years or 3 years or 4 years. It's better to spend, for example, 1 year getting trained in like being a plumber, or for example, fixing ACs, HVAC, or whatever it is, okay? Than it is, for example, to stay at a job where you're gonna get minimum wage forever. That's not what you wanna do, okay? So overall, figure that out. So the more problems you solve, right, you can get paid more money, but if you also solve bigger problems, you can also get paid more money and also have a lot more time. People, a lot of the times, they go towards, I'm just going to solve more problems. I'll work here at McDonald's, solve this problem. I'll do, for example, deliveries, solve that problem. I'll open at home, solve that problem. But then you solve all these problems, and you don't solve the problem of that you don't have enough time anymore. So sometimes the bigger the problems you can solve, the more money you're actually going to make, which is actually pretty cool. Now, number 3, guys, and this is the last one here, so pay attention. Time is all you need when it comes to getting rich. And people don't really believe me when I say this, but it's true. The game of getting wealthy, the game at winning at money is all about time. When you have an unrealistic perspective, that's when you get very stressed out and you have a lot of anxiety. Because when you look at social media or YouTube or whatever it is, and you're like, this guy is 15 years old, making $40,000 a month. I'm like 40, I'm like 30. I make $30,000 a year, right? It's kind of crazy. The answer is that's outliers. In statistics, outliers are things that usually happen very rarely, okay? But the average person that's a millionaire is around 57 years old. So what does that tell you? It takes time to get wealthy. It's not gonna happen overnight. So the only difference between you and somebody that's wealthy is usually their habits They're usually a little bit more frugal. They invest a little bit more money, and they also wait. Okay, they spend time investing, and they spend a lot of time basically waiting to let those assets actually appreciate. So Tommy, how do I solve this problem for myself? The answer is a simple one. First of all, I would only recommend you start investing, of course, after you're done paying off your debt, like I told you guys before, in the plan. And then once you have a full-blown emergency account, then we think about investing. Now, let's say, for example, you decided to be like saying, like, okay, I'm going to invest for the next 30 years, and I want to get into $1 million. I'm going to put all my money into the S&P 500, which, by the way, it's not a bad investment. It's actually pretty good, okay? Just put all the money into S&P, in a Roth IRA, that's it. And you want to get to $1 million. Well, how much money do you have to invest to get to $1 million? The answer is somewhere around $88 a week, or about $12.59 per day. Not a lot of money, right? So it's a lot of people think like, oh, you need to invest so much money. The answer is no. It's only about $88 a week to get to $1 million in 30 years. Tommy, but it's 30 years. Yeah, but the average person that's a millionaire is 57 years old. If you want to beat them, if you want to get there faster, then obviously you're going to have to do things a lot more differently. You're going to have to either invest more or, for example, cut your expenses by paying off your home a lot earlier, get a higher paying job to basically do everything a lot faster. That takes sacrifice, and it's all up to you on how you want to do it. Is it possible to beat the average? The answer is yes, but you have to do better than they did. That's the idea. But you can't wish, for example, to be a millionaire by tomorrow because it's very unrealistic. Now, overall, how do you put this into action? Again, what I will do is very simple. Open up a Roth IRA. I would try to max it out, $500 a month, or just invest, for example, 10 to 20% of my money, put that into the S&P 500, and it's literally leave that money there. Every time I get paid, automatically I send 10, 20% of my money over there, and I let the money compound and compound and compound. While that's working, I'm also going to be working on paying off my home as fast as possible. If you can pay off your home in 10 to 15 years, when you have a paid off home, you won't need $1 million in investments because basically you can live off a lot less because you have a lot less expensive. That's the key a lot of people don't see when it comes to the money game. The less needs you have, the less wants you have, the less money you actually need to retire and have a lot more freedom a lot earlier. Guys, those right there are 3 things that if you get and you understand, you will be above every single person out there. You'll know what they don't know when it comes to money, which is also very important. And by the way, here's a bonus for making it all the way to the end of the video. And comment down below, I made it, so I know you made it all the way to the end. And it's when it comes to money, the game of probability is very important. And you want to play games where the odds are in your favor all the time. You don't want to, for example, grab your money, put it in the lottery, put it into a casino, gamble it away, take risks with risky investments. No, you want to put your money where you have a high probability of actually making money, even if, for example, if it's just 11% with the S&P 500 or 12%, that's what you want. You don't want a place to put your money where you might wake up tomorrow and the money's basically evaporated, it's basically gone. Because when you're on a low income or you're just getting started, whenever you lose your money, whenever you go to zero, you're not just losing money, you're losing all the time it took to actually get that money, okay? Now, guys, that's it. I hope this video actually helped you a lot, and I hope you actually got some value from it because that's the entire goal here. And as always, like, subscribe, hit the bell so you get notified. On top up here is another video on how to buy a home the right way. And over here is my face. Go subscribe. And as always, long-term team officially out.